Okay, here's Stella working on her bounce test. This is at 10-foot spacing and 16 inches. And she's relatively new to jumping, so this will be really interesting to see. Oh boy, okay.
Nice placement of your reward, nice and low.
Okay, so let's slow this down and look at the details. So I love her drive, and her stay is fantastic. And so lots of good stuff to work with here. But she does not use her body very well when she's jumping. So let me show you why I say that, and then I'm glad, really, really glad you're in this class. Okay, so first of all, this is that same problem coming out of the stay when she's too close to the jump. She takes a short stride out of her sit. She's too far away to feel comfortable jumping, but too close to add another stride. She decides to add another stride, and she ends up way on top of the bar. And so this is a highly collected jump. So of course what happens is her apex is going to be extremely late, and she has no choice really but to power up, almost a vertical jump to get over that bar. You notice that she's got that full tuck position, where her feet are up under her belly. That's a dog that's feeling maxed out again. Notice her head position is as high as it possibly can be. This is another little young dog technique. She's not confident about the weight shift from the front to the rear, so instead of planting both front feet, she's going to do sort of a pole vault technique where she plants one and then delays her other footfall in the front end so that she can push off with her front and then finish it with her rear. Again, she ends up too close to the jump. She's not confident of the 16 inches, so here's her full tuck position again. Apex is late and over high. So this is a girl learning to over jump jumps. We're going to catch that process and try to change her thinking there. This is much better placement of her and weight shift between her front and her rear. So this is a better jump. This is going to be a little bit hard to see, but it's a very tight back tuck. She doesn't take her front legs up under her belly. She tucks them way back behind her, which is a more confident jump. But boy, that's the definition of inverted form, isn't it? This is a relaxed tuck in the rear, so she's getting more and more confident as she goes, which is great. The confidence comes from the fact that she has less stress on her weight shift from front to rear. Particularly the last jump, she doesn't have any pressure on her to accomplish that in any specific period of time. I love her drive to the toy. It's a fabulous pounce. Nice timing there to get it down and release it early. She's very proud. Like her body language here. Like how you're tugging her back into position. Okay, so now here's with restraint. She doesn't love restraint. She's not 100% comfy with it, but watch her body language right there. It changed. She got fixated on the job ahead, and she actually was not overly worried about that. Let's compare the restraint in the bottom to not restraint in the top, see what it does to her speed. Here we go. Time synced up over the first jump. You can see she's in a much better position coming over the bar right from the beginning. That's going to help her speed. She does not drop her head though, although she's moving faster. So she is faster with restraint and driving to the toy, which is good. Her head drops a little teeny tiny bit, but this is going to be a work in progress for her. Okay, let's look at some of the details of that last run. Okay, here's where she's taking off. Notice her rear end is sitting down into the jump. Notice her front end, the angulation in the front. So that's gearing up for a monstrous big jump. Again, she's not jumping because she's confident. She's jumping because she lacks confidence. That's why she's over jumping. Rear legs are tucked up underneath her. Again, still, so she's developing a pattern there that I want to interrupt. Head is up, head is up. Here is a back tuck. See the toes pointing down behind her? So that's a little different position, a little more confidence. That's also a back tuck, but a tight one. So there is so much to be gained in terms of efficiency and speed, and she's got lots of drive. So I'm really glad that we have an opportunity to try to influence that.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, so now let's look at the jump shoot. So this time I'm just going to do slow motion and let you kind of get a sense of the rhythm of the front feet and the rear feet landing. So just in your mind go boom, 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 boom. Okay, so let's look at, what's happening and why I'm drawing your attention to that. Okay, so here, nice striding into the jump chute. Her rear end is a little lower than her shoulder, so she's sitting well into the jump. She over jumps it. She could have directed her energy a little bit more forward, but here's why it all kind of goes hand in hand. Her head is way up. Now, in order for her to get her front legs on the ground, most dogs raise their head. And as they raise their head, they push their front assembly toward the ground. So the reason those go hand in hand is because once she's in the air, she cannot change the trajectory of her center of gravity. So if one part is going to go up, it has to be balanced by another part coming down, kind of long and short of it. But there's another thing that she can do. If she brings her rear legs forward, she can bring her front legs back. There's another balance that can happen. And that's what she does. So what happens is she squinches her tummy muscles, basically, and the front feet finally hit the ground. The rear legs are very close behind, but it's not because the weight shift has happened from front to rear. Notice her rear end is up in the air. So what she's going to do is push off with her front real quick. The rear will be right behind it, and now she starts the process again. She's jumping off the front end. She jumps too high up because there's too much up and not enough forward. The forward comes from the rear end strength. So what she uses her rear end strength to do is to bring her rear legs up under her belly so she can start the whole process over again, get her front legs on the ground. And then, so it has that kind of rhythm. It's like she floats over the jumps and then boom, boom. She floats over the jumps, boom, boom. And that's kind of what you're seeing. Now, in this next picture, I just wanted to illustrate, well, how much push off is she producing from the front end? So her front feet are on the ground, rear legs are not. Look at her head position with respect to the orange tape behind her. Okay, now in this picture, that her rear legs are still not on the ground. All of that elevation is front end. And now when the rear legs finish the job, they're going to direct the momentum too much up because the up part has already begun with the front end and not enough forward. And so you get a higher jump, but not as much speed, not as much ground coverage. Okay, so anyway, I thought you might find that kind of interesting. Okay, so now let's look at restraint. I love how you bring her back, by the way. Just tugging all the way back. Keeps the energy level up. Okay. You can see a little bit of that rowing motion with the front end, hopefully. Slow it down a little bit. Don't know if you can see it or not, but... okay, so now here's comparing the restraint in the bottom. Normally restraint produces more drive, a little bit better jumping. This is where I synced it up. Slightly better bend to her stifle and her hock in the bottom picture, by the way. A little bit lower over the bar. So right off the bat, we see a little bit of improvement. Okay, a little bit ahead of the game right here. Little bit ahead of the game. So, and again, lower over the bar. Her apex is going to be a little bit better. So every little bit helps.